Black waitress sees her childhood photo framed in the millionaire's house, shocked to learn that. It was a slow Tuesday afternoon when Maya stepped into the gleaming foyer of the mansion perched on the hilltop, far from the city bustle she was used to. The rain tapped lightly against the marble columns as if hesitant to disturb the grandeur. Maya, in her modest black and white waitress uniform, adjusted her tray and smoothed her apron, trying to ignore the butterflies in her stomach. She had worked hundreds of catering gigs, but never one like this, never in a house this opulent. Chandeliers glittered overhead like frozen fireworks, and each hallway seemed to whisper old money secrets. She was here to serve canapés at an exclusive fundraiser for foster youth programs. The irony didn't escape her, she had once been one of those kids. As she carefully made her way through the guests, Maya's practiced smile masked the unease she always felt in spaces like this. She kept her head down, avoiding eye contact, but something on the far wall of the grand living room caught her eye. A photo, framed in gold, resting on a carved walnut shelf, stopped her in her tracks. Her breath hitched. It was a picture of a little black girl, no more than 7, in a bright yellow sundress with a shy smile and a missing front tooth. She remembered that smile. That was her. It was her first grade school photo, taken the week before she was moved to her third foster home. The tray trembled in her hands. She quickly placed it on a nearby table, her heart pounding as questions flooded her mind. Why is my picture here? Who put it there? She turned slowly, scanning the room for someone, anyone, who might hold the answers. That's when a tall man in a navy blue suit with silver at his temples approached her with a warm smile. "Can I help you with something?" he asked, noticing her gaze fixed on the photo. That picture," Maya stammered, her voice barely above a whisper. "That's me. I mean, it was me. That's my school photo. But how is it here?" The man's expression softened with surprise and then awe. "You're Maya," he said, almost in disbelief. "Maya Jefferson?" She nodded slowly, still dazed. "I can't believe this," he said, rubbing the back of his neck. "I'm Daniel Carter. This photo, this has been in my house for over 20 years. Maya blinked, confused and overwhelmed. "But, why?" Daniel motioned for her to sit, forgetting for a moment she was a waitress on the clock. The other servers glanced over, puzzled, but Maya couldn't move. She sat down, her knees weak and her heart thudding in her chest. "You probably don't remember me," Daniel began gently. "But I remember you. My wife and I were volunteers at St. Paul's shelter back in the early 2000s. You were maybe 6 or 7. We used to help with weekend reading programs, birthday parties. I remember you loved fairy tales. You always asked me to read Cinderella, and you made up your own endings." A blurry image surfaced in Maya's mind, a kind man with a gentle voice, and a woman with honey-colored hair who always brought cupcakes. She remembered the warmth in that place, short-lived as it was. One afternoon, Daniel continued, his voice growing quieter, "I found you sitting alone in the corner, crying. You'd lost a little locket that your birth mother had given you. You told me it was the only thing you had left of her. We searched for hours, but it was never found." Maya's eyes welled with tears. The memory stung, she had cried herself to sleep for weeks afterward. "That night," Daniel said, "you gave me this photo. Said I could keep it until we found the locket. You said it was okay because you trusted me." His voice cracked slightly. "I promised I'd take care of it. And I did." He looked at her with eyes shining with emotion. "I never forgot you, Maya. That photo sat on my desk for years. It reminded me why we started the foundation." She gasped. "The Carter Foundation? That's you?" He nodded. "We created it to support children who age out of the foster system. Scholarships, job training, housing. It was all inspired by you. By that one moment." Maya sat in stunned silence. Her world felt like it had flipped inside out. All these years she had felt invisible, forgotten, just another name on a case file. But here she was, a piece of her past framed and cherished in a mansion that helped change thousands of lives. "I always wondered what happened to you," Daniel said softly. "We tried to keep in touch, but your caseworker said you were moved out of state." She nodded. "I bounced around a lot. For homes before I turned 15. I aged out, worked odd jobs, got a scholarship through the city to finish school. I've been trying to find my way." "Well," Daniel said, eyes glistening, "you found it. You mattered, Maya. You still matter." In that moment, the room fell away. The chandeliers, the fancy suits, the expensive wine, they blurred into the background. What remained was a moment of profound, human connection. A little girl's forgotten photograph had become a symbol of hope that bloomed into something extraordinary. "I don't know what to say," she whispered. "You don't have to say anything," Daniel replied. "But if you'll let me, I'd like to help you finish whatever journey you're on. Your family, in a way. The beginning of something beautiful." Tears streamed down Maya's cheeks. For the first time in years, she felt seen. Not as a server blending into the background. Not as a statistic. But as Maya, the spark that started a fire of compassion. That night, after the event ended and the guests had left, Daniel handed her a small velvet pouch. Inside was a locket, tarnished with age, but unmistakable. Her mother's locket. "I found it in an envelope when we were clearing out the old shelter files," he said. "I've kept it safe all these years, just in case." Maya held it to her heart and wept. The story of the millionaire and the waitress became something of legend in the city. But to Maya, it was never about money. It was about being remembered. About the quiet power of kindness, how a single act, even one as simple as taking care of a child's photograph, can ripple out and change the world. She later accepted a position with the Carter Foundation, leading outreach for teens transitioning out of foster care. She spoke at schools, mentored young girls, and often brought her own framed childhood photo to show them. "You never know," she would say, holding it up with a smile, "where your story might lead. And who it might inspire." In a world that too often forgets the forgotten, Maya's story was a reminder that no kindness is ever wasted, and no child is ever truly lost when someone chooses to remember them. And framed in gold on Daniel's mantle, beside photos of his own grandchildren, still sat the picture of the girl who had changed everything. Because sometimes, the smallest lives leave the biggest marks, and the greatest treasures aren't found in wealth, but in the hearts we touch.